Hi guys, happy Wednesday. I'm currently sitting on the floor of my bedroom. I'm still trying to find good filming places, so here we are right now. So this week our theme is childhood, and so my piece is more or less a collection of different memories and such. So you'll be able to find it on the Write Like Us Tumblr, but you'll also be able to find an annotated version where I just kind of point out certain things and explain them a little bit better on my writing blog, which I've put a link to in the box thing. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. So this is my piece. I don't know what it's called. Hopefully I'll have a title for it by the time I put this up. When I think of childhood, I think of days bathed in sunshine, happy and carefree. I think of a child's curiosity and sense of wonder, delight, and laughter. I think of trees in a park, red balloons, and toy trains. I think of crayons and silly songs and books with bright pictures. But that is an utterly romanticized image, because childhood is also full of dark things, monsters and misbehavior, stupidity and selfishness, aches and anxiety. It's interesting then what we remember of our childhoods. Memory is a fickle thing. We don't always choose what we remember and what we forget, and sometimes we make things up altogether but think they're real. Here are some things I remember about my childhood. I remember taking care of my little sister, especially after my parents decided I was old enough to stay home alone and babysit. I remember the weird looks the neighbor kids gave us when they first heard my sister call me Chechi. I remember realizing that I would always be defined by my role as the older sister after my parents started calling me Chechi too. I remember trips to India, food poisoning, mosquito bites, falling down a cliff, sari shops and picking fabrics for dresses, struggling to connect and communicate with my family because I lost my fluency in Malayalam long ago, but making it work all the same. I remember waking up and making oatmeal for my dad and my sister and packing 3 lunches every day during the school year. I remember being teased and bullied by my cousins, even the one I looked up to the most, and being called her shadow because I did. I remember tears, lots of tears. I remember being told at 12 years old that the people I thought were my friends really didn't like me and wanted nothing to do with me. I remember parents who were always working, and I remember spending more time at Latchkey and at Auntie and Uncle's house than I did my own. I remember the time my mama spent an entire Saturday with us. We made pancakes and went to the movies, and she even played video games and jumped rope with us. I remember singing at the top of my lungs and badly after dinner practically every day when I was 11. I remember reading so often that I got in trouble for it, and I remember the librarian that let me check out more than 2 books at a time and had my ID number memorized because I was there so often. I remember rollerblading and painting in my basement before it was finished. I remember our guest bedroom when it was our game room, with the fat TV in the corner and board game pieces strewn everywhere so that you couldn't set foot in there without stepping on something. I remember having a pistachio cake for my birthday every year until I stopped celebrating it after I turned 10, and never really questioning why it was pistachio cake of all things. I remember playing pretend in the basement of our old church and on the playground during recess. I remember swinging on the swings as high as I could with my eyes shut and my face turned up to the sun and trying to describe the colors that burst beneath my eyelids. I remember getting yelled at a lot by both my parents and the uddies I used to get. I remember the wooden spoon my mother always seemed to have in her hand that she'd raise whenever she was angry with me but never actually used. I remember feeling embarrassed about the way I looked and because I didn't always know the English word for things. I remember my kindergarten teacher looking at me like I was stupid because I didn't know what an apron was, even though no one I knew had ever owned or used one. I remember my dad braiding my almost waist-length hair every morning before school, and then my sister's. I remember how sad he and my mom looked when we both cut it all off. I remember that at one point, when I got in trouble, my parents would tell me, "You're not a little kid anymore." And it makes me wonder when exactly my childhood ended, because for every moment that I remember, there are 1,000 that I don't. So yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.